You ever had a nightmare like when you were a kid? When I was a kid, I used to have nightmares, and my mom would always tell me to turn into Superman. Of course, as I got older, that became cooler stuff like Super Saiyan. I became Super Saiyan Goku whenever I was in trouble. It seems like there's like some actual power to actually visualizing yourself as someone else. Kind of like with Superman and Clark Kent. He wears the glasses to shift into his alter ego, which is his real form. It's kind of weird because neither Superman are actually themselves. I don't know if a guy with laser vision wearing glasses is a OSHA violation or not. He obviously has perfect vision. The glasses are a matter of identity. Sometimes it sacrifices the intimacy. Maybe that's part of the whole thing with Superman's identity being a protective shell. One of the main things about actually changing your life. Happy New Year, by the way. I should have started with that. New Year's resolutions don't really work out because you're the same person trying to do something that you couldn't do before. It seems that the way to actually accomplish your goal is to become the person that accomplishes it. And that may sound or seem impossible if you try to think about it, but identity is a matter of visualization. You think of your personality as something that's ingrained in your brain, which it is, but it's really just a bunch of habits. It's not really you. If you think about whatever the essence of yourself is, if you think about reincarnation, if you are some kind of being after you die, you don't take your brain with you. So your memories, the music you like, your favorite TV shows, they can't really be part of your personality if you move on and become an alien that hasn't even seen human arts before. I think that's the thing with Cruella, which is obviously one of my favorite characters. If you've watched any of my previous videos, she was not Cruella in the beginning of the video. She was just the orphan girl. She suffered from her own victim mentality. She hid her true self, and becoming Cruella was actually being her true self. Maybe that's kind of the thing with Superman, maybe your alter ego, your alter identity is your true identity, because society generally forces you to show up as someone else. I heard a quote earlier this week. I wrote it down. This is from a book called Man and Superman by George Bernard Shaw. And it said, "The unreasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable man persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man." Which led me to realize, yeah, I'm pretty weird. I'm a pretty unreasonable person. It kind of changed the direction of this channel to realize, when you're a creator, especially with YouTube, you hear so many things when you're starting off telling you how to do different things and how your niche should go and how your channel should go. And I've realized that the thing that any human being really has to offer is some part of themselves, the unique part of themselves that can't be packaged into a niche. And now I feel like I have transformed my life quite a bit. I will, in the future videos, explain all of the things that I've been through and gone through in the last 7 years to reach the point of creating this channel. But I will say that I have went through 2 failed marriages, and Game of Thrones is still the most disappointing thing in my life. But I've learned a lot from Game of Thrones and those failed marriages about relationships. Obviously, I was not a master of relationships in the past. I was a terrible husband and father. I prioritized myself, and not in a good, healthy kind of way. It was in a neurotic way. I didn't know how to communicate my needs. This was something that I had to learn. And the way I learned it was actually taking the criticism from the people around me instead of being defensive all the time and fighting back against it, I actually started to study the patterns of my own psyche and learned how to undo those patterns. I learned every pattern about, well, I haven't learned everything yet, obviously, but that's where attachment theory came in and why I became so obsessed with attachment theory. Learning attachment theory helped me learn the subconscious patterns in my brain that I repeated for life. And that's really one of the key components to understanding your identity is understanding the subconscious programs you're running without knowing it. Once you unlock that part of your brain and start to realize the things that are pushing you without you being consciously aware, once you're able to hit the brakes on those things, once you're able to stop being someone you don't want to be, you're able to actually show up as the person you want to be. It's been a weird thing. I've been acting really weird at work, and people have, been looking at me like, "What's gotten into you?" And I told them, I'm practicing being myself because I'm never myself. And maybe that's the thing about my YouTube channel is I'm trying my best to be something else all the time. I'm trying to be someone else in my relationships. I'm trying to be someone else in my friendships. I'm trying to be someone else when I show up to my spiritual groups. I'm trying to be someone else on the page when the true power, the reason you were created was to be you. And no one else can be you as good as you. And so expressing your full potential, your full nature, whatever that looks like, is actually what you're supposed to do. And to actually become that person is a matter of a mental shift. It's a realization. It's realizing that you don't actually have to do anything to become that person. That person isn't someone you are to become in the future. You're that person now. The goals you're trying to accomplish, it only takes you becoming that person mentally. The rest of those goals will come as a byproduct of you being that person. Yes, I use this accent quite often, actually. The actual way to attain the goal is to become the goal in your mind. They say, the way to manifest the thing is to feel the feeling of already having the thing. And future videos will be about that. Like I said, subscribe. I will go through manifestation on this channel. I will continue to talk about abusive psych types, or however you want to put it. I will continue to talk about relationships, but one of the things I want to start talking about in 26 is the wealth mindset and breaking out of poverty mindset, out of lack mindset, and how to actually become your best self in 26. And so, Happy New Year and welcome to the Glow Up. It's really late. I don't know how I really got this video out. It's a bunch of new stuff coming. If you're watching this, I'll probably have some better equipment soon. I'm getting a better mic than this one. I don't know. I might get a better backdrop than this. This is just like a Halloween robe that but yeah, I'll talk about a lot of things, a lot of weird psychological topics on this channel. So if you're into weird mental stuff and relationships and bridging the gap between Eastern spirituality and psychology and just being human and fixing society and topics like that, like and subscribe to this channel. This has been Psyche Blossom, and as always, stay mindful and thanks for watching.